Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in for another Top 5 with MovieByte. I am your host, Ruben. You can follow me on all my social media platforms as Atticus_95. And today, we're going to be talking about Mr. Ridley Scott, okay? My top 5 movies from this famous British director who has done from neo-noir movies to science fiction horror to science fiction overall, war films, a drama. Like, he is a Academy Award winning director as well, and he's done numerous films. So Mr. Ridley Scott is today's top 5. Yo, what's up, Jesse? Also, I would like to announce that this is actually our last episode of Top 5 with MovieByte. We're going to be taking a break. We should be back within the next couple of weeks, me and the Russian, to do a live preview of what is to come for season 2 of MovieByte, because we are planning to come bigger for season 2 of MovieByte. Lots of movies that we want to talk and now analyze with you guys, and we're going to start doing it live as well, so that's a big step for us, and we all deserve a little break to get ready for that. So, like I said, this is tonight's episode. It's the last one of Top 5 MovieByte. Make sure you catch on all of our episodes from our YouTube channel. Help us reach 100 subscribers. We are only 97 subscribers, 3 more to go to hit 100. My goal is to hit that by the start of season 2. All right. So let's get this party going. For those who are joining me, for those who are just getting here, again, this is Top 5. Can't wait. Thank you, bro. This is Top 5 MovieByte, and today we're going to be discussing Mr. Ridley Scott. Alright, so my number 5, and again, this is a quick reminder to everybody, this is my personal Top 5. If you have other options or your own Top 5, please feel free to throw it on your comments on the video whenever you're watching it, and I will happily analyze, discuss them with you, and disagree or agree with you. Alright? Okay. So, number 5 film for me, from Mr. Ridley Scott, it's got to be Black Hawk Down, all right? Released in 2001, this movie was produced by Mr. Jerry Bruckheimer, who has been producing big blockbuster films from The Rock, Pirates of the Caribbean, Bad Boys, you name it, you know? It has a very large assembled cast, including Josh Hartnett, Ewan McGregor, Eric Bana, Tom Sizemore, William Fichtner, Sam Shepard, Jerry Piven, and Tom Hardy in his first role. All right, this is the movie that introduced us to Tom Hardy, to the actor that we all know nowadays. Very good movie. It is indeed. It's a war film. It's based on a true story about the United States 1993 raid in Mogadishu, and the title pretty much explains what it's mostly about. Is when the Somalians pretty much knocked down a Black Hawk helicopter in the middle of this town, and it left a bunch of soldiers scrambling for their lives and to survive until they could get help to escape the island. Not the island, the town, I meant. This film was nominated for a couple of Academy Awards. It got nominated for Best Director. Ridley Scott did not win in that category. It did win for Best Film Editing and Best Sound. It went on to gross about $173 million in the box office in 2001 when it was released. A couple of fun facts about this film. Like I stated, Tom Hardy's first film. It's actually Eric Bana's first United States film. He was a very famous Australian actor beforehand. One of his most famous role was a movie called Shopper. It was because of that movie that he got the role for this in this movie. And then we all know Eric Bana went on to play Bruce Banner in Ang Lee's Hulk. That turned out to be a box office bomb. Originally, Josh Hartnett did not want to be in the movie because he was coming off from Pearl Harbor. He didn't want to be in another blockbuster, but he did not want to give up the opportunity to work with Mr. Ridley Scott, so he signed on board. And also another fun fact about this movie is that Russell Crowe was almost in the film. As you all know, Russell Crowe has worked at least 3 times with Mr. Ridley Scott. Gladiator, Body of Lies. I can't forget. I lost the track of the third movie. Damn it. It's gonna come back to me later. Oh, American Gangster. All right, American Gangster. That's the third movie that Russell Crowe has worked with Ridley Scott. So yeah, number 5, Black Hawk Down. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch this film, it's an amazing war film. The action scenes, it's just a story that just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It has a lot of actors that now are very famous. You know, they're considered A-list actors, including Orlando Bloom, right? He was coming off from the success of Fellowship of the Ring at that time. And we all know he went on to star in the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy and has done other numerous works alongside. So if you haven't had the opportunity, go check Black Hawk Down. All right. So my number 4 film from Mr. Ridley Scott. So you can see right there, number 4. I love this movie. A lot of people, when this movie has been seen, a lot of people don't understand it, don't get it. You have to have a different mindset when you're watching this movie. It has spawned a sequel. It's one of the most beautiful films I've seen, like photography wise. And this film has a lot of versions that are out there. You know, it actually has 3 different versions because it was a studio control film. And I'm talking about 1982 Blade Runner starring Harrison Ford. This is a neo-noir film that is set in the future. It's actually set in Los Angeles, 2019, in which synthetic humans that are known as replicants are bioengineered by a corporation, right? And they work in space colonies. This is how far this dystopian future is, right? And then we have a group of replicants that escape that colony and they go down to Earth, and then Harrison Ford plays Rick Deckard, who is assigned to hunt them down, right? And this movie is based on Philip K. Dick's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Classic. It is a classic. And I think a lot of people don't understand this movie because of how the genre is considered. It's a neo-noir movie. It's a slow-paced movie, but it's so well... The story is just your classic, like 1940s, 1950s neo-noir films. Like, detectives trying to find hunt down someone or solve a crime. This is what you're getting instead in the future, right? It has 3 different versions, like I stated. Ridley Scott considers his final cut the favorite version of his. This movie has 3, like I said, the theatrical version that was released in 1982. There is a director's cut, and then the final cut that was released in 2007. That is Ridley Scott's favorite version of the film. That's the one that he actually signed off of. And if you haven't seen, I would recommend you see all 3 eventually, and you'll see why the final cut is the best version of this film. The new ones are okay, nothing special. You're referring to the versions? Are you talking about the sequel? What are you exactly talking about? This Blade Runner is a very personal film to Scott. It's one of his favorite of everything that he's done. It was a box office bomb. All right, in 1982, because it was released the same week as E.T. the Extraterrestrial by Steven Spielberg. So it was a dud, because of that being released the same time where another family film during summer, right? And then Spielberg, its name attached to it, pretty much destroyed this movie's chance at the box office. But the movie has gathered a significant cult following afterwards, that to this day it is considered a cult classic. And it's a very amazing film. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, definitely check it out, and then follow it with Blade Runner 2049 by Denis Villeneuve, starring Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford in return, because that movie it's a beautiful piece of work. It's just art. There's no other way to describe Blade Runner 2049. It's just beautiful. Harrison Ford actually has stated that this movie, it was his most frustrating to make because of the production, the rewrites, and everything that he had to go through. Later on, he has, in a sense, taken those comments back. He still doesn't consider it his best movie, but it's It's in there. That movie was ahead of its time. I 100% agree with you, Jesse. This movie was way ahead of its time. And the fact that it was released the same weekend as E.T., I don't know what the studio was thinking. They should have released it later, because this movie would have done a lot better if it was released at a later date. Because this is just amazing, though. It's just different. And I had the opportunity to, I actually own the 4K version, the ultra high definition version of this film, and it just looks amazing. Like, the CGI has not grown, the CGI has aged very well in this film, and it's just amazing. So you guys should definitely check out Blade Runner. That's my number 4 film, from Mr. Ridley Scott. Like I said, it was released on June 25th, and it only made $41.5 million in the box office, out of a budget of $30 million. So that's why it's considered a box office bomb, unfortunately. But it has grown a very huge cult following since then. All right. Thank you for still hanging out with me. So my number 3 film of Mr. Ridley Scott. All right. This film actually has one of my favorite taglines in the poster, and it's "No one can hear you scream in space." It was released in 1979. It has spawned a massive franchise. It gave us the introduction of an actress that we all know and love, Miss Sigourney Weaver, who went on to star in Ghostbuster movies, Galaxy Quest. And I'm just talking about, and by now you guys know, it's Alien. Like, Alien was directed by Ridley Scott. It was his take on sci-fi, and he introduced us to the genre of sci-fi horror. All right. A couple of fun facts. This is a very fun film to watch. Is that Harrison Ford actually turned down a role in this film? Okay, he did not want to be part of it because he did not want it to be in another space movie, given that he was already in Star Wars, and he was starting to feel that he was being typecasted. The xenomorph, which is the correct term for the alien creature in all of the Alien franchise movies, has only 4 minutes of screen time. And its first appearance doesn't happen until an hour into the movie. So this is what sci-fi horror does to you. Don't love it? That movie is out of this world, literally. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know about you, man. You got some weird choices in movies. You do. But hey, no judgment, brother. Another fun fact is that Meryl Streep was almost cast as Ellen Ripley. Sigourney Weaver and Meryl Streep went to the same acting school, I believe, and they both auditioned at the same time. And Meryl Streep actually had to turn down the role because at that time she was her partner John Cazale, right, who was a famous actor that starred in The Godfather Part 2, The Deer Hunter, was in his final stages of cancer, and eventually he passed away after filming The Deer Hunter, and so Meryl Streep had to turn down the role so she could spend time with him. So the role went on to Sigourney Weaver, and as you all know, this pretty much kickstarted a whole franchise with her, followed by Aliens, which was directed by James Cameron, Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, Alien Resurrection, directed, I forgot his name, but it's Alien Resurrection is more of like a campy blockbuster film at that point. And there was at some point ideas of making an Alien 5 directed by Neil Blomkamp, but that never went into production. And it's a shame because the storyboards that he has shared through his Instagram and Twitter page, it looks like it would have been an amazing movie. So Ridley Scott, still in the Alien genre, Ridley Scott obviously went on to make two other movies connected to the Alien universe. We all know Prometheus and Alien Covenant. A lot of people, including myself, have a love-hate relationship with Prometheus. Because obviously sloppy writing involved, bad editing. But at the same time, it's a movie that the more you watch it, the more you're tolerable on it. So it's a love-hate relationship. And then Alien Covenant did something good to try to keep this franchise alive. And I'm going to talk more about Alien Covenant in a minute. Another fun fact about Alien is that there is no dialogue for the first 6 minutes of this movie. Okay, so it's just building the tension of like that being in space and you being trapped with this alien creature on a vessel with nowhere else to run because you're just confined into space, and that's what it does to you. That's the horror part of this movie. All right. So before we actually have to go to number 2. I was gonna start way ahead of my time. So number 2. Let me go this way. There we go. Number 2. I think everybody loves this movie. At least has seen it once when it came out in theaters. It was released in 2015. It stars Matt Damon alongside a huge ensemble cast including Jessica Chastain, Jeff Daniels, Kristen Wiig, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Sean Bean, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, and the list goes on and on. Donald Glover was in this movie. Everybody knows him as well as Childish Gambino. And I'm talking about The Martian, like I said, starring Matt Damon, nominated for a Best Actor award. This movie is very fun to watch. I find it really good. It's very enjoyable. I would have to say it's one of my favorites from Matt Damon, and it's just so entertaining to watch. And it's like 2 hours and like 20 minutes long, but you just sit through and like it's a great story, And again, this is Ridley Scott's return to sci-fi genre, and he does a really good job. And the good thing about this movie is that, fun fact goes, is that NASA actually helped with the consultation of this movie. So everything that you see has been consulted with NASA, to provide the best accuracy for the story elements. Drew Goddard, who wrote the film, right? Also, this film is based on a novel by Andy Weir. All right, it's a it's a bestseller, I believe. So Drew Goddard wrote the film. He almost was set to direct the movie, but he left to direct The Sinister Six, which at that time was still in a almost starting production by Sony, until eventually, because of the flop of Amazing Spider-Man 2, they shelved that idea completely, and Drew Goddard never got to make that film, and he missed out on The Martian, who went on to be a Academy Award nominated movie for Best Actor, Best Picture, and other awards. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, as we all know, is the astrophysicist, has said that this is the most accurate movie when it comes to astrophysics. And then this is Ridley Scott's first nomination in 14 years as a director. His last one came when he directed Black Hawk Down. So it took 14 years to the Academy recognize Ridley Scott once again, and it came from The Martian. Another cool thing about this movie is that it's very rare to have a movie that's released in October, and usually October is a very weak month in the box office, and it went on to gross $630 million out of a budget of $108 million, right? And that's very rare, and again, it just tells you how good this movie is. This movie was also the production was done in 5 weeks. Matt Damon actually did not spend barely any time with any of the other actors until they met for the press junkets and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen The Martian, you should definitely check it out. It's a great movie, and it's just number 2 for me for Mr. Ridley Scott. Okay. All right. So before we go to number 1, and obviously you guys are already thinking or have an idea of which is my number 1 film from Mr. Ridley Scott, there are a couple honorable mentions to do justice. Don't get me wrong, Ridley Scott has done a lot of movies that are out there, but these are my honorable mentions again. A lot of people will put out there Thelma Louise or Legend. Those movies don't do it for me the way that these movies that I'm about to mention do. All right. So my first honorable mention from Mr. Ridley Scott, it's got to be American Gangster with Russell Crowe and Mr. Denzel Washington. Let me tell you that this movie is, I don't know, let's just be fair. This movie is all about Denzel Washington. Now, Russell Crowe is great in this movie, but it's Denzel that carries the way in this movie, and the fact that Ridley Scott does a movie in one of my most favorite genres in movies, it's mind blowing. Great movie. It is. Thank you, bro. Look, I love mob movies, and gangster movies, and like this is just it feels so like obviously you have movies like Denzel is fire. He is. Obviously, you have movies like The Godfather, Casino, Goodfellas. Talking about the Italian mob, right? But then you have American Gangster. Like, what better way to tell a story about a gangster from someone that is, like the title itself explained, American, and not just American, and African American. All right, like this man was a beast on the streets in New York, right? So. Again, Denzel Washington, everything he does, he turns into gold, and American Gangster is right there in that alley. So that was my honorable mention. My other honorable mention, and we were talking about this franchise earlier, it's got to be Alien Covenant. And I'm going to be fair with you guys. The first time I saw Alien Covenant, I did not like it. I was disappointed, but it has become a movie that the more I watch it, the more I understand it, and I can see what Ridley Scott was trying to do with this movie. He was trying to make up for the mistakes that Prometheus did. Obviously, this is a sequel to Prometheus, because it has Michael Fassbender returning in this film, alongside a whole new cast. But he actually, Ridley Scott does a good job in trying to keep this franchise alive, Obviously, Alien Covenant did not do that well in the box office. That a third movie that would have completed the trilogy did not was not greenlighted. Hopefully, in the future it will. But Alien Covenant it's good. Obviously, Aliens. I actually consider Aliens like the top of the franchise, directed by James Cameron. Then Alien. And then I put Alien Covenant right on the third spot, So you should check it out. If you haven't seen Alien Covenant, definitely check it out. And those are my two honorable mentions, okay? Now, obviously, we cannot talk about Mr. Ridley Scott without talking his best film that he has done to date, okay? And we all know what movie we are talking about. We are talking about Gladiator, released in 2000. Not only in 2000, in May, it was considered a blockbuster movie that went on to win a Best Picture Academy Award, Best Actor. All right, it had 12 nominations and won 5 Oscars out of that movie. Like, let's just spend the rest of the 7 minutes left in the show to talk about this movie. This movie has everything. Great acting, a powerful story, a powerful soundtrack. To this day, Hans Zimmer's soundtrack from Gladiator is the most downloaded soundtrack in any digital platform. It just hits you right there. You just feel like you need to grab a sword and fight your way through to redeem your freedom, right? We got a story about betrayal. We got a story about a soldier who gets his family murdered by a jealous son of an emperor, right? And that son of an emperor becomes the new emperor and doesn't know that the man that fought alongside his father is still alive and has become the one of the gladiators from the Roman Colosseum. And this gladiator, played by the magnificent Russell Crowe, and the best film that he has done to this date, to redeem his freedom and redeem his vengeance, take vengeance on the man who murdered his wife and his son. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. It does not get any better than that. My number one pick. I agree. I believe that anybody that is watching this top 5 right now has to have Gladiator as a number one film from Mr. Ridley Scott. Okay? There's nothing else out there that beats this movie when it comes to this director. Okay? Like, let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix. Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, which I feel he got stole. He should have won that year for an Academy Award. Nobody beats that performance. In fact, Ridley Scott wrote the character with Joaquin Phoenix on his mind. He had no other actors for that show, for that character. He said, "I want Joaquin Phoenix," and what a magnificent character he plays. All right. A couple another fun facts is that this is Russell Crowe's favorite American film to date. Okay. Mel Gibson turned down the role because he thought he was too old for it. At that time, Mel Gibson was 43 years old, and he did not want to portray Maximus, right? And the role went to Russell Crowe, and look, it won Russell Crowe an Oscar. Sorry, the best is the duelist. You know, fair enough, my man. Thanks for joining in, Eduardo. Fair enough. I like that. Hey, but you gotta tell me, Eduardo, Gladiator is on that top 5? Let me know. He was amazing. His scenes with Russell were fire. They are. Hugh Jackman was considered for the role of Maximus. Antonio Banderas was very close to become Maximus before Russell Crowe took the role. Okay, so in another universe, we have these 3 big actors. Oh yeah, you're my man, Eduardo. Thanks for joining in. So this movie went on to do so well that they actually considered making a sequel at some point. That would have followed Lucius, who is the son of Lucilla, which is played by Connie Nielsen, and she is the Emperor's sister, right? It would have taken as a grown man as an emperor, but it never got greenlighted. And to be fair, thank God, I don't think we needed to have a Gladiator sequel. This movie stands on its own. It's a classic. It is it's like, look, I have a poster right here in my room of top 100 movies watch list by IMDb, and the Gladiator's there. Oh mama. Okay, Gladiator is there. Okay, and it's just another very fun fact, and this shows you the caliber and the range that Mr. Joaquin Phoenix is as an actor. The line that he says, "I am not merciful," was improvised, and Connie Nielsen's reaction is legit because that was not scripted. In fact, I'm going to share with you guys that clip. I happened to find it. Let's take a look at it together.
Am I not merciful?
You can listen to Hans Zimmer's soundtrack in the background.
Am I not merciful?
Oof. There it is. Like, ooh. And one would think, that's scripted. No. Joaquin Phoenix delivered that line. Improvised. Ridley Scott loved it so much, he left it there. Great job, Mr. Ridley Scott. Great job, Mr. Joaquin Phoenix. We all know the great actor you are, and it only took you to make the Joker for finally the Academy recognized your potential. You deserve more, mister. The music, man, epic. I agree. It's just everything. This movie is a 5-star movie, 10-star movie, Infinity Star movie. Like, you should, I don't know if you have not seen The Gladiator at this point in your life. I don't know what you're doing. In fact, stop watching this show and go rent it, buy it. In fact, just buy it. It's worth it. All right, man. I got too excited. In fact, I might watch Gladiator tonight after I'm done with this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. All right, for those who are joining in for the first time, thank you. I really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, MovieByte Podcast. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We got a Twitter channel under the same name. Follow us everywhere you know. We are on your favorite podcast station. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, we're going to take a little summer break, but me and the Russian are going to be back within a couple of weeks to give you a heads up of what's to come for Season 2 of MovieByte. We're going to be reviewing some awesome movies. We're going to delve into categories this time. We're going to have people join us to analyze movies with us. Okay? Hey, if you want to be one of those people, let me know. We'll invite you, and we can talk movies for an hour plus. Like, this is for you guys, and I really appreciate all the support. Thank you again so much. We're going on a break. Stay tuned to our page. We're coming back. We're coming back big, bigger, stronger. You name it. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until then, I'm your host, Ruben, and this is MovieByte Podcast, okay? That was great. Eduardo, thank you so much for joining in. Hope we can see you again. Catch up with all of our videos on YouTube if you haven't, and let us know what you like, okay? And I would love to hear more from you, man. Thank you so much for joining in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and I'll see you on the flip side, all right?